I'm Adam, and I'm talking to Sam and Ross from Twin Atlantic. How's it going, guys?
All good, man.
Good man, good, thank you.
Cool.
All
You're
good.
here from. I can tell by your accents. You're not Canadian, are you?
No, no, not quite. Scottish. We're
You're
from Scotland.
from Glasgow, is
Yeah,
it?
correct. Yeah, Glasgow.
Well, you've had a chance over the past few years to. You've toured a lot of different places, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. We've been lucky enough to tour kind of all over North America, and we've been kind of all over Europe and stuff too. So, and the UK, obviously, up and down, maybe 100, 100 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in between your first two releases, the mini album, I think you call it Vivarium, in
Mhm.
was it 2009? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your first full-length album, Free, just last year.
Mhm.
You've done a lot of shows, and you've opened for some pretty big bands too. I mean, Blink 182, Pumpkins,
Mhm. Yeah.
Gaslight Anthem, I
The
think.
list is embarrassingly long. It's like
Yeah,
My Chemical
Yeah.
Romance are in there,
Yeah.
and all these other.
I'm sure.
Trying to
And
remember.
you've also, I mean, as far as I can tell, really built up your fan base over that time too, just with your own shows or with your own music, obviously. What's changed? How have you changed in between the first two releases?
Um, yeah, I think it's like we've grown up a lot, just the way that anyone does between the age of like 19, 20, and what we're 24, 25 now.
Oh,
So I think there's that sort of like natural human thing where we've just grown up a lot. But I think musically, I think we've just relaxed, and actually, like when we started the band, we wanted to make like crazy music and show off playing weird guitar parts and stuff. Whereas now we just want to concentrate on songwriting.
uh, and producing Free is Gil Norton, who, I mean, has made some landmark albums in the
Absolutely.
alternative rock genre. I mean, Foo Fighters' Color in the Shape, a couple of Pixies albums, I think
Mhm.
Doolittle and Bossa Nova.
Mm-hmm.
How did you end up working with him?
Basically, when we started the band, Ross and I, we loved this band called Feeder from the UK. Kind of like and it was a lot of it was to do with the production, and I think that was the first time we ever really noticed production quality and stuff when we listened to their records. And we kind of always joked like, oh yeah, one day we'll record with Gil Norton. So then when our A&R, our label, said, who's your dream producer? And we kind of jokingly said, yeah, Gil Norton we would love to record with. And then he got sent the demos and came back saying he was really into it, and it was just that kind of weird fairy tale moment from there on out. So
Things like that, and also, touring with some bands that I assume you're pretty big fans of, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Is it surreal, or do you ever get the feeling of, like, wow, we're really making it?
Do you know, especially with Gil, I think that it wasn't until after we were back and we were home and we'd finished even the mix and the album's about to come out that you actually really think, wow, we did actually record that album. Because when you're in the middle of it,
Yeah.
you're just kind of, you get on with it. He's just a normal person like anyone else, so you just do your day-to-day thing. But sometimes you have to take a step back and just think about how lucky you've been, you know.
The sound on the album is, I mean, it's a particular kind of sound, very accessible, but most songs you have a massive chorus. It's a huge sound to it. Does that just come naturally from the songwriting? Because I can't imagine, you get together and you all somehow automatically know the song at the same time.
I think we're like suckers for like the big payoff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might not even necessarily be what we actually listen to all the time, but for some reason, when we all get together, that's what makes us feel something to play. Those big moments, and to have those, like Sam's big vocals. I don't know if there's anything in the songwriting that you tend to lean towards that.
I don't know. I guess it just doesn't feel like a good song until it has that payoff. And I guess the classic place to put it is the chorus. So
Yeah,
it
alright,
just kind of
fair enough.
happens naturally, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah, in terms of the lyrics, how important is honesty in music to you, in your music specifically?
Yeah, I think it kind of comes paramount almost in that. I don't know. It kind of makes me feel awkward to like put on too much of like a total rock persona or anything like that, because that's like a big cliche that still exists, I guess. And I don't know. I think I felt like, or I wasn't really feeling much from any like new like rock bands, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of other like indie bands and whatever that are really cool just now, but there weren't many like rock bands that were really kind of floating our boats, I suppose. So I guess our way of kind of trying to combat that was starting our own band and just being as honest as we could, because we felt like that's what was kind of lacking. from like younger rock bands that are around just now. But yeah.
Is there anyone you're into now? Kind of newer bands or?
Yeah, there's a few bands. There's a band from the UK that are called Tribes that are like
Okay.
particularly good. Try to think who else we're listening to recently. The Maccabees, they're also from the UK.
There's an American band called Middle Class Rut that we listen to all the time. We actually toured with them last year as well. At the tail end of the year.
Crazy guys.
Cool. And so what's next? How much do you look to the future, or can you just enjoy your success?
Well, I think we actually have, like, the next 6 months are pretty planned out, hectic. We're just touring and touring and touring back and forward from the States and Canada and Europe and festivals, Warped Tour, headlining,
Warped
just
Tour,
so
yeah.
much.
Yeah. When you come touring over here in North America, do you feel like you're playing to a lot of new fans every night?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Pretty much, almost exclusively, I would say. We're
Really?
starting to see little pockets of people develop in certain states and certain towns, and there's some people who've come to shows that we're starting to recognise now. But yeah, it's pretty much entirely a new audience, which is like a whole new challenge for us every night. It's pretty exciting.
Is that a good feeling though, keeping it fresh in that way?
Yes and no. Yes, sometimes because we've been out here for like 2 months or something like that, and I guess we got spoiled back home. You start to miss that energy that you get when there's a room full of people who know every word to all the songs. But that
Yeah.
kind of gives us the drive to make it want to happen over here. So it's good and bad in both ways.
Okay, cool. Well, love the record and wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you, man.
Thanks so much
Great
for
to meet you,
coming by.
dude. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.